Let's see. Where? Hey, sis. How are you? Can you hear me okay? Donald normally does my sound check. Great. Okay. Okay, we got about a little less than a minute to go. Okay, so it is now 5:11. Welcome to Tea Time with Kitty. Hey, sis. As everybody get joined on, I'm going to share some information now, and I'm going to reshare the information again just to make sure that I won't miss anybody. We will be doing a bus trip to Woodbury Commons on Saturday, March the 30th. The bus will depart from Maryland. It will depart at 6 o'clock a.m., going to Woodbury Common, which is in New York, and it will board from Woodbury Commons at 6 o'clock p.m. with an expected arrival time back into the DMV at 10 o'clock, no later than 11 o'clock p.m. So if you are interested, hey sis, and going on the bus trip with us, we haven't done one since COVID. There are always lots of fun, lots of food, lots of prizes, and a really good time. Deposits are being accepted now, and the deposits are $50. The trip is $90, $95. And it is a $50 deposit, and a $45 balance that has to be paid by March the 15th. So if you are open on that day, March the 30th, and you want to go do some shopping or just have some time to get away, I'm going up there not to do much shopping, but to kind of focus on getting myself something to eat, getting away, reading a book, and having some relaxation for those that may not want to do as much shopping. But if you can join us, hey sis, please join us for the trip. And again, that's going to be March the 30th. If you need more information, just shoot me a text. And my number is 202-758-8941. And I will share it again towards the end. Happy first birthday to my great niece. She's turning 1 year old today. It's her her first birthday. It's my oldest brother's oldest daughter's youngest child. So happy birthday to you, Chastity. So let's get right on in. Today's topic is hey sis, happy new year. So good to see you. Right now we're looking at we have a list of things, and today's topic is what agitates you. This is a very, very, very stressful society or world that we're living in right now. And the littlest thing seems to agitate everyone. Every little thing seems to agitate everyone. So we're just going to look at some things that agitates people, and to try to see how we can come together collectively to see how we can overcome some of those things that may be big to you, but on the other end, it's small to someone else. So we're going to compare some of the two. I'm going to read off the list of what the things are that seems to really agitate people, and then you all are going to drop a number in a chat out of those 10 things, which is the most biggest irritating thing for you. Oh, look, you already got one. Hard-headed, smart mouth little girls. Okay, look, and I didn't even put anything really on here about children, so that's a good one, right? Okay, the first one is someone that complains all the time. Someone that complains all the time. And you can wait till you hear them all to drop it in, or you can drop it in as I go. Nothing's ever positive. They just going to find fault in each and everything. Asking for a manager. This is one for me. When you go somewhere, you're not satisfied with the customer service, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's conducting your personal business, like I conduct my mom's business, and someone's not able to get you the response that you want, and you ask to speak to their manager, and they'll say, or their supervisor, and they'll say, Are we rating? So when I read them all, that this is the second one. Now you're gonna just drop the number. So just try to put the notes in your phone or on a piece of paper with which one is the most agitating thing when I read the 10 off. So now we're at two. When I said, may I speak to your manager? And they tell me, oh, well, the manager's going to tell you the same thing. No, but just get me the manager. That's one that really, hey, Shamika, that really bothers me. um Daycare. If anybody has a child or a grandchild that goes to daycare, and you know how most daycares cut off time is probably 9 o'clock, and when it gets like 8:55, 8:58, they're kind of side eyeing you. That used to be me. I don't have anybody in really a daycare now other than the grandgirls, but not parenting. And people would be watching you. And it's always, I know for me when I worked in daycare, it was always the kids that was the baddest that was running late. So right when you think you got a break from them on that day, and here they go, come right before the cutoff time, and their parents is pushing them through the door, and you're like, oh God, here is such and such a. That would be number three if something like that irritates you. Number four, long lines in the grocery store. Have you ever just wanted to move somebody else's stuff over in line and place your items there because you're so agitated about the amount of items that they have, or either how they're paying? You know, maybe someone with WIC, for instance, and they may not have the right ounces of cereal. I don't know if that's how it's done now, but they may not have the right ounces of cereal, so they got to run back and make a change. Does that agitate you? Number five, fussy children at church. This is my grandgirls. The oldest one is getting a little better, but the youngest one looks forward to showing out on Sundays at church. So what about the fussy child at church? That would be number five. Number six is overbearing people. I love people, so this one may not bother me as much as others, but that overbearing person, I just met you and you just won't leave me alone. We just started working here. You keep coming back to my desk. Or just so, how many kids you got? Are you married? Just the overbearing person. Number seven, people that drive at the speed limit or under the speed limit. Are you someone that has road rage and you want everybody to speed up? Rain, shine, sleet, or snow, I need you to go as fast as I am going. Number eight, this is a big one here if you're in the work world. Rules and changes at work. It could be the dress code change. It could be a tour duty. It could be a new location. Change at work. Number nine is ignorance, right? And I'm not going to say an ignorance person, but sometimes person's actions can be of ignorance, or that could just be so irritating and annoying, right? And or that person could be insecure. So we have both of those two ads put together. So whether it's being ignorant or just that insecure person that thinks that everybody is talking about them, even when you're not thinking about them at all. Now we have the last one. Oh my God. And I experienced this just today. Number 10, the bullshitter. How much does that weigh on your anxiety, or just your you being agitated by someone just to see? And that's one of the reasons why I could buy a car from CarMax, right? Because I would want you to put down how much the car costs. I'm going to come out and try to see if you get all in the negotiation piece. I'm not really with that. Or if you're trying to purchase something, even like for me today, we're trying to get new carpet and you're all around, how much does it cost? I do not like trying to be people just trying to run bullshit on you, like they just see you coming. That's what my grandma would say. They see you coming. So back to number one. The number one was the person that just complains all the time. If you're out to eat, something's wrong with their food. If they so we're going to go down the list again. So right now in the chat, if any of those persons, any of those things, I'm sorry, apology, agitates you the most, what would one of those things be? If you can't remember the number, then maybe you could just kind of drop in the chat, and then we'll kind of go from there. What is something that agitates you so much, so much? Who will we hear from first? We know something that was not on the list was your child, and Karen said having having a hard-headed, smart-mouth little girl that just really do it for you. And that's just what children in general got all the mouth, but then come back and need you. And then you still gotta, do what you gotta do as a parent or aunt, uncle, but just thinking that they got all the answers. So let's see. I have three. So let's go back to three. So three was the daycare one. You ain't got no babies in daycare, or you having flashbacks from when Kamari was in daycare. I remember I went with you a few times to that daycare. Oh, four. Okay, so 4 and 10. So number four was long lines at the grocery store. Is that right, Karen? Long lines at the grocery store. And number 10 was bullshit. Okay, we're gonna come back to that. And I see Tasha got 1, 2, 9, and 10. So one, you say you don't like somebody that complains all the time. Okay, got that one. Number two is you hate it when you're asking for management and they won't give the person to you. Oh my gosh, they gonna tell you the same thing. Look, just do what's at your pay grade. When they say pass it up, pass it up. I even do that at my level at work. I will try to help you, and if I can't, I'm going to pass it up. Let's see. Then Tasha, you also said number nine, and number nine was so for you. Is it the insecure or the ignorance, or was it both of that? The insecure or the ignorance, or was it both? And then, so now let's come down because currently went back and added her some more. So she got 1 and 4, and then she added number 7. And number 7 was, man, I can't, I need some glasses bad. Driving. So you have issues with people driving the speed limit or being slower. Since I never knew that you had that foot on the gun like that. We'd have been to lunch. I never picked up on that. Okay, so you don't want them just driving too slow. What about the weather? If it's snowing or raining, will you give them a pass? Can they drive a little slow? And it was both. Okay, sis. And then let's see. So Mitchell got one complaining, definitely. Two, asking for management. That is such a big one for me. Number 6, overbearing people. Oh my God. So we got somebody now that has chatted about the overbearing people. Have you had some of them in your life just like, oh my God, like you're cool and all, but like, hold on. Let me get to know you. Let's sort things out. Let's build. Like, I don't need you all over here. I don't need you asking me 100 questions. I don't need you doing all of that. Don't be too overbearing with people. Like, let the relationship build and flow on its own. And then number 8, rules changing at work. So we are up for new rules changing. We have a new dress code going in place, which is challenging. It's a little contradictory, some may think. So definitely rules at work, especially when it's your tour of duty or like my ABC at any given time, you can be moved to any different place. I hate the long lines. I think they try to force you to do self-checkout. I don't fucking work here. You don't work. Oh my gosh. And so many people will push that cart right on out the store and say, if you want to expect for me to pay for it, you better have your security do their job and chase me because I'm out of here with this cart. Definitely the long lines. That used to be a big one for me. I try to practice a little bit more patience. But for the life of me, I don't understand why people don't get their stuff ready, like even through the drive-through. So not just the grocery store. Like sometimes drive-through be backed up by somebody trying to get the exact change out. So you done held up a whole line just because you trying to make sure you're giving them an exact change or don't remember where you put your credit card at. Just number one, my sister Robin is just a sweetheart. So she says she can take on all of the other things as long as you're not complaining all the time. Christian, I'm gonna give it to you in 1 second. As long as you're not complaining all the time. It always goes back with a lot of these things. And I guess that most of the agitation in my life comes from work. And, hearing an employee that you work with and they just hate everything about the job, everything about the job. And then you wonder what makes you stay. Like, it has to be something like, in spite of saying all these things that you hate about the job so much, just say, hey, well, they pay good. They have good PFL. They have, so something, just finding a good, I can find a good in just about anything. So I am definitely right there with Sister Robin with that. Number one, if you are a complaining person all the time, try to pick that spirit up. You don't want to keep that program in your life. So Christian, you said what you missed. The tea then cooled off a little bit, but we're going to give you a little bit of it to try to warm it back up because I have a text coming in. But we're just talking about things that agitate you. When you look back over your life, is this somebody complaining? Is this someone that won't give you management? Long lines at the grocery store? People driving slow in front of you? People just having so much bullshit? Rules changing at work? You might can relate to that. Let us know if there's anything you can drop in the chat that truly agitates you. Yes, and the elder lady was writing a check during the lunch rush. They will sit there and write a check, and I still got my checkbook. I just got mine back out now so that I can start getting more discipline with my tabs. Because, like, if I'm rushing in the morning and don't have cash or don't get to go to the ATM, I would not tab. So I make sure my checkbook is back in my purse. But like I say all the time, if you are that person, we want to help you out here on Tea Time. If you're still writing checks, holding up the line, like Karen said, pre-write out your check. You know you're going to use it at the Giant, right? So you don't have to sign it. You don't have to write the amount. But if you know that you're in the Giant today and today is January 24th, go ahead and write 12424 or January 24th, 24. Go ahead and start writing that out, right? Because we're going to talk about that in a second, but we're laughing about people being agitated. But people mental health is on a rise, and you'll be amazed at what small agitation can cause. Let me see what we have here. It agitates me when people close a store that don't own 15 minutes before it closes. That's a really good one. Matter of fact, my credit union has been doing that lately. So if I call my credit union at 4:48, for instance, and they close at 5 o'clock, they will already have the system on saying that they are closed for the day. And that bothers me so much when I'm trying to do a transfer, because some of these credit unions are not as up to date as banks with being savvy with the different ways that you can move money. So some of them are not, and I like it because it helps me save, not getting to it as fast. But then when I really need to get to it, it agitates me. So if you are working somewhere for somebody, stop closing the store early. Stop. It's not your business. Stop closing the store early. Yes, complaining. I try to avoid those people because they bring my mood down. They will bring it down. Like, I got enough complaining to do myself. I don't need you to add on yours. People not respecting your boundaries. That is so important. Respect people boundaries. Imagine how agitating it can be or frustrating it could be if I only want you to know something and you share it with someone else. But then it doesn't stop there, right? So not only did you share it with somebody else, which is now the second person that knows about my situation, now they didn't share it with someone else. And by the time I come around again to the cookout, everyone knows, right? Let's see, back to the chat again. Let's see, I think we have one more chat. Okay, no one didn't come in. So now we're down. Okay, hold on. We'll go to the text in just a second. I don't like when a store like Target have all these employees walking around, but no registers open and got a long line at the self checkout. That's annoying. It's definitely annoying. But what I also learned from what self checkout, if it looks as long, and I'm not a fan of self checkout, if it looks as long as the regular line, hopefully you want to peep and make sure that they all have the lights on, because if it's 20 people in line, but they got 5 registers going, it should get you out of there a little quicker than that. While we're talking about self checkout, though, Christian, it's so important that people please use the amount of items that the line calls for. I don't see express lines as much anymore. Somebody told me they operate more in the daytime for seniors. But remember when you would go in the grocery store and they had express lanes? And I think in the express lane, you could only have 10 or 15 items. And somebody will come with a whole shopping cart. Not only am I agitated that they have that much stuff, but I am also agitated that the cashier or nobody's not going to say anything to them. Like, if it's 15 items or less, and you say you got 16 or 17, okay, maybe we can do that. But when you start going into the 20th item, you really need to let them stand in line. And then once they get up, then let them know that, hey, this is not what you're able to do. What agitates me is people that come in the store 2 minutes before we close. Really? Oh, and Christian say he agrees with that. But I am that person, Pookie. You know that's me. Like if you close at 6 o'clock, I should be able to come in there at 5:58. A lot of times Costco will let me get away with it, but then they'll start having their staff to help walk me out the store. So like if I'm back by the paper towels, they'll start back there in the paper towel area and help me move up. But I'll still grab more items as I'm coming closer to the door. So you don't like that. I need those 2 minutes, right? Um, you don't take two big food carts to self checkout, right? Oh my gosh. And you don't be trying to hold a space. If you a daughter and you know you got your little SNAP benefits, we ain't mad at you, and you and your mom got a big cart, and then you want to let your mom up, and then both of y'all want to look at me and roll your eyes and dare people to say so. You know, people be ready to fight, right? So don't do that. Don't do that. So you're hearing these things that agitate people. Don't agitate people. Don't you do these things. Man, you gotta go. Okay, so let's see. We got another text coming in. Hold on. It annoys me when people think they're the only person in your life. I have other friends, so it can't be all about you. If anybody else have that issue, I got all these friends in my life. It can't only be about you. And that kind of goes with like bossiness and jealousness and things of that nature. And just trying to make time for everybody. So sister gonna agree with Pookie too. When I was on the floor, I would be so mad when a customer walks in at 4:39. Oh my God. And then it says, we know. Not only do they walk in at 4:39, but they have the most complicated case. The most complicated case. Like, where you been all day? Like, when we get agitated, it makes us start passing judgment. Where you been all day? Like, you could have been, or what did I say on my scenario the other day? You got Balenciagos, you shouldn't need expedites, right? So it definitely puts us into a judgmental outlook on things. I forgot to tell y'all also, tea time, of course, is on the move. And I am actually live from mommy's house today, right? Wednesdays is the day dedicated to mommy, Women Crush Wednesdays. And it's the day that I take care of my mom. Her directly, so outside from family events, but it's just me and her time. Thank you to DC government also for that. But she kept peeping in the door. She's out there now with her friends. I guess as they meet up time out in the lobby, and she keeps peeping back in here saying, what time it started? You put that tea thing on yet? You put that tea thing on yet? I said tea time on. Yeah, you put it on yet? Because she got her friends right outside at the door right there. But I ain't gonna put nobody on blast. I don't know if anybody's had it from anybody, but her whole little crew is in the audience like it's a Oprah Winfrey show. So they're on the side just sitting back, and they mean mugging me a little bit. That's crazy because it gotta be all about me. So you want your friends to make it all about you? Okay. Um, let's see. It's one thing if it's a quick item or two, but don't try to shop while we try and go home. And what do you all? But the thing that I want you all to get most importantly from this is that it's always two sides. So when I'm that person that wants to run in the store down to the last 2 minutes, somebody else is seeing it as these 2 minutes until I go home. So let's learn to coexist. That's what it's all about. They walk in and not know what they're looking for. Yeah, they don't want. We could be a little confused. That's why we just getting in. Exactly where you been all day, and they talking about you, and they talking about you. Yeah, they talking about me. I'm used to it though. And Christian say show them. Okay, and then yes, we can be friends. And then Christian said show them. I'm not showing them seniors, and they start throwing their canes and stuff at me. They don't want to see you. Let's see what else we got. Bless your heart, Mom. So lucky to have you. Such a wonderful love. Thank you, daughter. And you are too. And then be late with a nasty attitude. But let me tell you why people have a nasty attitude when they're late, right? And I'm going to be very sympathetic, like my sister Robin, right? People have a nasty attitude when they're late because they already know that they're wrong. And the thing about people in life is nobody wants to be wrong, right? So if you're a daycare provider, and when the child is running late and the mom is pushing the child through the door, have some sympathy and some empathy. Well, it's just empathy because sympathy is low. Well, no, because there'll be a loss, so you never know what their situation is. But have some empathy with people because you never know. So why the mom's face is frowned up and your face is frowned up because her child is bad and they always late. You don't know if the mom can be late one more time for work. So sometime in life, things are bigger than you, right? Sometimes in life, things are bigger than you because there's somebody somewhere while we're agitated at the long grocery line, there's somebody somewhere that wish they could just go shopping for themselves one more time. So, and I guess that's what helped me cope, right? And just think about it, like, yeah, they taking a long time and I'm frustrated. And normally I'm always in a rush and on a move. But let's just think about it. What if you wasn't even able to get up and come into the grocery store on your own? What if you were being wheeled around or bedridden and you just hoping that when your caretaker or your child goes out to Giant, they get you Miracle Whip instead of mayonnaise, right? Because you no longer have that option to do those things. So in all things, please, 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 and it's definitely funny, but just have grace and a little mercy, a little patience, and a little empathy with people. It will definitely take you a long way. Then want to use some expired coupons. Now, how you get there with some expired coupons? They don't have no coupons at your store. They want to use some expired, but all of those things are me. All of those things. And I like to say all the time because I always say, hey, I will ask somebody for some of their food in a minute because I'll share some of my food in a minute. And I think that that's just how I see things most of the time. Like these things are me. So I know that I this is how I operate, so it makes me a little bit more patient for how others operate, right? Let's see. Then we want to use okay, but they still have to respect people's time. The parent gotta prioritize. Definitely, definitely, that's so important. Thank you, Sister Robin. Yes, my shining hands right there. Yes, we do. So let's see what else. So when we're talking about these kind of things and things that agitate us, we definitely want to remember that mental health is on a rise. And sometimes for us, agitation just makes us a bit frustrating. But for others, it really gets us so overwhelmed and it gets us to the point where we can harm someone else for the little things. So, like, you may be driving slow in my lane and I wish you would go faster, but it's only a wish. I wish you would go faster and it stays at a wish. For someone else, they may throw something at your car, they may try to ram inside your car. And it can be the same thing with you going extra slow in the lane and a person gets behind you and they start bumping the horn or they get up on you close and that person just whips out a gun, because people are really over the edge. So as often as we can show grace, mercy, empathy, patience, as much as we can show that to someone else, it can also be a teaching tool. It won't always work. I wouldn't sit here and tell you that it always works, but at least we should try. I think that if we get all of those things back in place and top it with love, we'll be able to tolerate much more than we ever knew. We really have to get our hearts and mind in a more decent and in order place. We have to be able to love on people. The more you love on someone, the easier it is to get along with them, right? That's like a child crying in church. To somebody else, you wish that grandbaby stop crying. You wish that child stop crying so you can hear the word. But then there's somebody on the other cubicle that says, they said, train up a child in the way that they should go. And by me training up my children and my grandchildren, I have always had them in church at young ages. Always had them in church. So they was climbing the pews, they were standing on the pews, they were whining, they were making sounds. And it's just a blessing because I pray, and all through my years of bringing my children, I think we've been in church since Yanni was 6. Um, in church, like not in and out, but in church since Yanni was about 6. Um, so that means that when Shamika and Donald was born, they were in church at young ages. When Sanaa and Samante, and right now with Nala and Yard, they're in church. So they're going through their stages where they're learning. I'm not about to beat anyone, so it will agitate me if somebody peep at them. But if they peep in love, I'm kind of fine with it. But if they don't peep in love, I'm a side back. But we definitely have to work together. So I'm just so glad to hear that my church is increasing the children's church, right? So right now it's twice a month, and I believe it's going to be 3 and sometimes even 4 times a month. So if you're looking for a church home and you want to bring your babies and have them loved on and have them be able to get away and get taught on their level, please don't find it robbery to visit New Image Community Baptist Church in Southeast DC. And you can always text me for more information. Let's see. Before we get ready to wrap up, one more round. Let's see. Mousy, I dislike when someone with no children or never been a parental situation tries to give advice on how you should raise your child, because some things are easier said. Definitely some things are easier said than done. And it's very important that as time go on, as you grow, or even as you start to have children or have children, you will see that it's easier said than actually done. So I'm going to give you all one more reminder for the shopping trip to Woodbury Common. If you are, no, my church ain't pay me no commission. Shut up. If you are interested in having a shopping trip to Woodbury Common just to get away from the DMV and ride with us up to New York City and have a good time. Again, the bus will depart from the DMV at 6 o'clock a.m. and it will depart from Woodbury Commons in New York at 6 o'clock p.m. The deposit for the trip is $50, and the entire trip is $95. So if you can come out and support us on this bus trip, please do so. And the date of the trip is Saturday, March the 30th, 2024. Again, happy birthday to my great niece. And thank you all so much for sipping with a sister. I look forward to seeing you each and every Wednesday at 5:11 p.m. Thank you so much for sipping with a sister.